Oh, hey.
So John and Amy here with our Home Over Hustle lives, and we are traveling right now. That's why it looks like we're in an interrogation room.
We're in a pod, which is so
We're in a pod.
cool.
So anyway, we just wanted to check in and see how everyone is doing, no matter when you watch this video, because we believe these are timeless in the essence that there is no time in Eden.
Yeah.
And when we're really talking a lot about it and the atmosphere of presence, to be here now, to be in the present moment, means there is no time, linear time, as we believe it to be. So, we wanted to talk about waking up to authenticity, genuine authenticity. Some of us think that we literally know what authenticity means, and we're still discovering what it means. It's taken us midlife to understand just how much conditioning has been behind the whole idea of being truly authentic as it pertains to having no foggy lenses or lenses that have biases attached. Kind of like what's happening today, you know, when you have demonstrations and protests, and some of them are turning really ugly and then others more peaceful and all that, but it's still a biased side, and we think we're right no matter what side of the aisle we're on, right? It's like no kings, no queens, no princesses, no nothing, and then there's yes everything, right? So we want to go higher. It's kind of like spiritual warfare, you know? Are we going to get caught up in the warfare of everything? I just had this exchange a little bit with a guy I respect online, and talking about how we're at full-blown war because of looking at everything linearly. And it sure feels like we could be at full-blown war, but that is only a perception. The perception being is if I stay low enough in density, then I will be entrenched in a war.
Yeah.
I will be in an egoic war. And it'll look like it's the battle of the ages between this big devil and this big God, and they're just arm wrestling and duking it out, and oh my gosh, I'm going to bite my nails and intercede and pop the veins in my neck and scream at the devil until there's a winner in WWF, rings, right? It just doesn't work that way, you guys. That works that way in religion and egoic constructs, but not that way in Eden. There is no wars in Eden, and Eden is the kingdom within. But if we're at war, it means we're in lower densities.
Yeah.
Where are we seated? We're seated far above powers, principalities, might, and domain. We're seated far above the egoic construct of wars. And so if we're seated and God laughs in that seating, where are we in context to that? And so if we're not authentic, which is what we'll be discussing today, all around authenticity, then we're in a conditioning that believes a certain dogma, a certain doctrine, a certain construct within ourselves that we've let the scaffolding speak for something that's more of a mimic than it is real.
Yeah, we've created a false identity, right? And I think this is where we're going through such great cleansing, dismantling. I mean, all of it. And anybody that's trying to cling on to anything and again, guys, this is God's absolute love, not allowing us to stay in our immature states of blindness anymore, playing our puppet games of the mimic system. We're waking up, and that's why people are feeling very vulnerable right now, because like Toto pulling the curtain's being pulled on so much of our stuff that's really not our stuff. It is all these masks and securities we've covered ourselves up with, our own fig leaves, so to speak, that weren't the fig leaves God brought as protection and love, but it's like a counterfeit version of cover-up. Because I don't know who I am inside, so I've got to, society says I need to be like this, society says I need to be for a king against a king, I need to be blah, 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 blah. I mean, you guys know it. And we're waking up out of this and back to authenticity. And the true expression of authenticity is us really, really being honest with ourselves and allowing ourselves to be honest with others in a loving way, right? We don't have to be so crass, so blunt, all this kind of stuff,
You
but
know, it's
also
tempting.
not do the pendulum of absolute perfection to where we are just so
Right.
fake. We're so fake that we can't move our lips and we can't, our eyebrows, you know what I mean?
The Botox of the emotion.
We've been authenticized, Botoxed out. So we are returning back to our original tone. And this is what's going on. This is why our bent tones are getting louder and louder, feeling off. It's very uncomfortable because God is taking his love and energetically drawing us like a chiropractor back into alignment.
Yeah, you know, it reminds me of the time. See, if we have the fear of man, we're not going to be authentic. And you know, that's where it swirls in institutions is the fear of mind. Fear of mind. Yeah, the fear of man is saturated in institutionalism. And the reason it is because everybody has to listen to an intellectual argument in their head and outside of themselves in order to survive. It's a survival of the fittest. So I'm gonna take a hierarchical stance here in this institution, and then I may not say it. Some say it, but may not say it. But I'm gonna belittle everybody that's kind of below me in that hierarchical place, because if they're not performing for me, you know, if they're not the jokers in the courtroom dancing before me, you know, kind of thing, then there's problems. But it just reminds me of, you know, if we're not in our own living room of relaxation, to picture your inner world as like the most comfortable living room you could ever sit in, with all of your favorite things, all of your cushy, you know, the couches or the cushions, whatever.
Your favorite cup of tea or
favorite
coffee.
Cup of tea, and your favorite people
puppy
being in there with you, right? Your favorite one or two people that are sitting in there with you. And you are in your PJs, you're in your sweats, you're in your t-shirt. You don't care if you have makeup on or not. You don't care what your hair looks like, if you have any. And you are completely relaxed and at home. That is where authenticity begins, right? It's being completely honest with your inner world to say, I don't give a rip what anybody thinks right now. And you're not saying it in a rebellious stance. You're just saying it's a matter of fact. It's just truth. I'm not caring right now because I am in my relaxed, genuine self state. And so you cannot, it is, if not impossible, almost impossible to be your authentic self in any institution that man has set up. It's nearly impossible. You could have glimpses of it here and there, but to be in that living room that we just spoke of and be completely relaxed, where all your organs, your veins, all of your tissues, your lymphatic system,
your colon,
you're not in TBS, tight butt syndrome. Your glutes are completely relaxed in that cushion, right?
Or and IBS.
Or IBS. So you're completely relaxed, right? That, my friends, is you're starting to see a glimpse of authenticity now. Now, we're not saying to take your messy self, like, you know, no makeup on and all. There's a move. Have you noticed this? Side note, sidebar, squirrel, where women don't wear makeup, and they're doing it as like a rebellious thing, right?
Or
I'm going to sit here and not wear makeup because, you know, I'm tired of people not seeing my authentic self. That's not what we're talking about. You know, you can wear makeup and be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all need to, if you know what I'm saying. So it's like, I get a kick out of those TikTok videos where it's amazing. It's like what we're kind of talking about here. But these girls will have like pimples all over their face and.
Oh yes, I'm sure you guys have seen them. They're like these older
Jane,
women,
you know?
and they're missing their teeth and everything.
And then they put all this makeup on, and then it goes flashes, and it's just like, whoa, they're supermodel. And then you see all the comments. People are like, all these guys are jumping on that. They made makeup for a reason. Leave it on, you know, kind of thing. But we're talking about, hey, what is authentic?
Yeah. Or did you guys ever see the comedic one there where the guy, he was with the false eyelashes, remember? What did he do? He used combs in his hair representing the fake eyelashes.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember it. Maybe you guys remember. Oh man, Yeah, so I mean, there's a certain point, right? Like, have fun, play, and all that kind of stuff. But I
Right.
mean, you can be without
long as it's true to
no
you.
makeup, and it all comes down to your energy, your vibe, right? Because if you still have an agenda with no makeup, and I think that's what he's kind of
That's
showing
what
on it
yeah.
too. Like, we've seen several people jump on, and they're pulling and drawing sympathy because, oh, look at me. My life is horrible. I'm taking care of all these kids. I don't have time to put my makeup on. You know, they're
Yeah.
like, it's again, it's like an energetic draw versus letting beauty just emanate. Whether you want to be creative, put makeup on. I do because I'm an artist. I love it. It's like my palette, you know, canvas.
She looks.
But
I'm telling you, she looks beautiful without it, and it's like, and I know that every man should be saying that to their wife and all, but I genuinely have a natural look, and a lot of men like the natural look, but we're talking about the attitude behind
yeah,
it, the rebellious. I'm going to rebel and do this. Okay, where's that coming from? Who's saying that? Who's saying? Is that the real, genuine spirit you, or is that the conditioned, traumatized you that says, well, I'm just going to rebel against everything? And that's like the
make
no
my
kings thing,
point.
the political thing, and no matter what side
Yeah.
you're on.
What do you guys
know?
think? Comment.
Yeah. Share with us what authenticity means to you, what it is to you. So some people think that authenticity means I'm going to make as much loud noises I'm going to disrupt this thing as loudly as I can and be that noise in society. That's not being authentic, guys.
Yeah, till you acknowledge my life that I matter, my expression, you know.
Yeah.
So again,
you're gonna take my lifestyle and you're gonna deal with it, or whatever it is.
no,
You're
I'm
gonna
just being authentic.
Yeah, you're gonna take what I look like or what I sound like, and you're gonna have to deal with it. No, that's pushing your trauma, or that's pushing your conditioning on someone else. If you're going to, it's no different than heavy right MAGA or heavy far left anything. It's like I'm gonna dig my stake in the ground, plant my flag, and everybody's gonna hear me whether they like it or not. No, when you look at that in contrast to the Eden, nobody was waving flags of any kind, whether you're right or left, gay or straight. Nobody was wearing any flags. They weren't waving any flags. That's the egoic construct that says, look, I am posturing myself to bring really a conditioning to you, and I'm putting it in your face to say, see me. Look at me, hear me, see me. And that stems from not being seen and known by God. When we're seen and known by God and receiving that as such in our own authentic state,
you won't fight for it.
You won't have to fight for anything. People will see your light walking by.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have some really, really good quotes I want to share with you guys from the Hum Table, and just some general ones on authenticity that are so good. We can kind of talk about too as well. But here's a really good one. Authenticity is not something you perform. It's something you remember. This is what's so incredible about we are retuning and coming into the great remembrance. This is what we're waking up to. You know, we've all heard it coined. Well, we're in the Great Awakening, yes. But what are we waking up to?
That's right.
You know, we're returning home. We're hearing the sound of home. Home, call us back. Eden. Eden it was the original frequency tone. It wasn't just a place on earth. It is the literal, pure blueprint of God's heart and us sung forth. And so we're hearing the call to come back to our authenticity. We're hearing the call to remember who we are. So all these mimic masks and everything can fall off and remember who we are. So another one is the real you doesn't need stage lights. It glows in the moonlight. I mean, man, again, like we're saying, you can talk till you're blue in your face. People feel what you're saying is true or not, right? They can feel your energy. That's the truth teller, or your body language, if you really believe it or not. And so it's just becoming so apparent more than ever, isn't it?
Well, touch on that moonlight thing. I think that is so profound, because who we are behind closed doors, you've heard this saying, who we are behind closed doors reveals a lot of things, like the living room situation, right? When we're in the living room of comfortability, and I mean comfortability from a place of authenticity, not just complacent sitting around eating ding-dongs all day long, right? But if that's what you want to do, you have free will to do that. Wouldn't recommend it, but, hey, that's my own bias. So the point being is that when Jesus walks the earth in his human skin, can you imagine the moonlight walking by? He is the moon, and so are you.
The
So are you.
moon and the stars.
So are we. It's all wrapped up inside of us. We carry the entirety of the cosmos inside of us, because that's how big we are. That's how big our spirit is. We're a part of God. We're a fractal of God. We're a portion of God, and that means that entire created cosmos in the seen and the unseen. And so when we look at Eden that way, because that's what Eden is.
Yes.
When we look at Eden that way, then we'll be like, oh, okay, then everything that I have learned, I have to take a look at again, because I've been conditioned and programmed to believe certain beliefs that were hand-me-downs, whether that's from the very goodest of best intentions or not, right? And so when we start waking up, like she was saying, when we start awakening, genuinely awakening, it's not a religious one. Really, really chew on that for a minute.
Yeah, if anything, we're waking up out of that, right?
We're waking up out of
the religious
that's a construct. The religion is really invented by man to try to make up for something or try to please God.
Or
right?
try to contain something.
Try to contain
to
something.
control it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so when we
God
wake
is
up,
never like that.
Yeah, so when we wake up out of that and we start looking at all areas of our life in examination, because this is what will happen. On a daily basis, you'll start looking from a 30,000-foot view, so to speak, and you'll be looking at, oh, okay, where did I get that belief from? You'll start questioning the beliefs that you believe, right? And that's what awakening is. It's like, oh, I just had another epiphany.
Your perspective,
yeah.
And we were just listening. We love to just tap in and hear like Zach Bush a lot online here and there. And he was giving such an amazing example of consciousness. He was saying how we're all conscious. We're all waking up more than ever. It's just, it's like a lens on a camera. Remember, like the old cameras where at aperture where it go, it open and then it go into a small narrow one, right? And so again,
some of us just have a wider perspective.
God is knocking on our hearts all the time, getting us to step out of the box of what we were programmed in, our upbringing, what we were told in our upbringing. This is right, this is wrong. This is, you gotta do it this way. This is my way or the highway. This is the right way, kind of thing, right? Same with religion. And all along your spirit's like, wait, why does it feel like there's something more? And God all the time is trying to open the, what's the word? Aperture inside of us. But our ego and our mind is going, no, back to the narrow. It's safe. It's easy to control. This is what I know. And as much as we try to hold that, the more we hold it, the more it's going to break, because you cannot help but open up to what is happening right now, because it is a collective earth thing. Like everybody right now, this is the call of ascension, of awakening, of returning home. So it's just going to get even harder and harder the more we resist it, instead of allowing that openness, allowing the next petal of truth to bloom and the next one to open and open. Still part of the same flower, right? We're not saying go, try all these things and be deceived and now you got more work to do because you opened the door to this, this, and this. But when Holy Spirit is drawing you and you know those leads and prompts to look into something and test it whether it was true or not beyond what you were told, follow that trail, experience it for yourself, because there's truths God's wanting to reveal to you. And it always be the difference of love and fear, right?
Yeah, see, the wide open aperture is the narrow path. It seems like an oxymoron, or it seems contradictory, right? Because it was like narrow is the path, so go narrow in your aperture.
Yeah.
So you got to be focused and narrow, like the eye of a needle.
Black and white, black and white.
Yeah, black and white. But really, it's the wide open aperture to say, okay, hold on a minute. This is bigger. The kingdom is bigger. Eden is bigger than I first imagined. First of all, it's not just my own little box of religion over here, my beliefs and my denominational stance. It's way bigger, and that's not wide the path to destruction.
Yeah.
Wide the path to destruction is to follow your egoic construct, your programming, your conditioning, to the point of up to including death of your natural body. But we don't want to follow that anymore, right? It's like we believe that the more people awaken, they're going to say, wait a minute, what am I waking up out of? They're going to begin to question what that means.
Yeah.
Because in the church world, we know that it means one thing. It's like all the bars are going to close. Everybody's going to come running.
And we're going to have a revival.
And we're going to have a revival. Everybody is just going to believe the same way we do in our denomination.
And it's just loops. It's a loop.
It's loops. And
well,
even if we have a massive awakening that's worldwide, which we're already in, it's not going to look like a religious construct that did of the past. Why? Because men tend to grab a hold of that and control the crap out of it until it completely bleeds out.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
monopolize on
that was a worldwide move of God? Well, how come it was relegated to a Pentecostal church and not a Catholic one and not a Baptist one?
And now they're warring, saying, well, we started it first. We had it here first. Now it becomes a war. Where it started in which church first and who's getting the most attention. I mean, you guys know the deal.
And people get really rich off these things. They get really wealthy off these things because it's all going in garbage bags to one evangelist. You know what I mean?
So again...
It's being authentic. It's an awakening of authenticity to say, come home, because that's the only place you can really be you in the comfortability of Papa's living room. And, Amy wrote a book called that.
Yes.
So it's awakening to come back home to say, it's like the prodigal son, right? A long journey coming to the end of himself. He didn't go join another church. He didn't run down and say, this is the move of God. This is the move of God. No. Came to the end of himself, of his egoic programming and conditioning of woundedness and trauma. Somewhere got in there. And then he came to the end of himself and realized, wait a minute. I had it wonderfully amazing in Eden. I'm going back home.
Yeah. And what
did the father do?
Yeah. The father ran out and embraced him. It's just like, but see, and that's just what's amazing about God is He will never force us. He'll allow us to try all these different things only to come to our own conclusion. It's like, man, it was so much better. And it's the same even with religion. You guys, like when we had genuinely got saved, woke up, I know for John and I, it was a real convergence. It was a real, we encountered Him. And then we were like, okay, well, let's go find others that are in love with God. And so, it enters in the religious system. Now, not all are bad. All are, some are really good. Again, you guys, it all comes back to the leader and their beliefs, right? Because, I went to a really nice Sunnyside Foursquare Christian church growing up, and I have great memories, right? We had some really good leadership. We had so much fun. There was a lot of laughter. There was the prophetic flowing. And then when John and I got married, and right before that, I started going into like a Word of Faith church because my school, they picked us up on Wednesdays and we went there. So I started learning more about the whole Word of Faith movement and all that, but it shifted to more of the name it, claim it, and warring and intercessory stuff and all this. It was so strong on the intercessory. And I remember I had a relationship with God that was just, I loved hanging out with Him in the garden. I loved just journaling, and I'd listen to what He's shared, and I'd write it down. It was so sweet. There was none of this intercessory pressure, right? So then I went into that, and there was an older woman that I really thought was wise, looked up to, but she was big into the warring. So she's like, well, you should be praying in the Spirit. You should be interceding for at least 2 hours. This is when the miracles happen. This is when all is so I shifted into that out of my just sweet flow because I just tapped right in with God because there was no agenda. And now I was working for it. And my gosh, the dynamics shifted. Now in came the shame of I wasn't doing enough. And this is where the breach happened in the very beginning with the garden, is that mimic system. The lie to Eve was luring her with knowledge that made her feel as though she wasn't enough again. It was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. It was knowledge outside of God. And so I was like, maybe I'm not doing enough.
In her innocence.
In the innocence. So, we adopt this doctrine of teaching, but it pulls us out of the simplicity, the childlikeness, the heart of God. And so this is what I'm talking about, the structure, the man-made structures, our separation ideas goes all the way back to the garden again, instead of the tree of life and flow and
We don't
freedom
go back far enough.
and fun and lightheartedness. And so it's taste and see, right? Which one is God? Which one is of him?
Yeah, and it really reminds me of this whole idea of you need to serve my vision for 20 years before you can have your own kind of thing. I'm glad I'm glad Jesus didn't say that to the disciples. You know, it's like, hold on a minute, John, Peter, Paul, and
You're not
the
good
rest.
enough until
Judas,
you
you're not going to
complete.
carry the money bag because you're going to rip me off and cause my death. So we're not going to give you the money bag, pal. We're not going to let you guys go out and do
Yeah.
the juicy stuff because you're immature. You still have a lot of woundedness. We need to intercede our brains out right now so that we can get every ounce of a million demons cast out of you before you can get to do the juicy stuff with me. And so this whole idea of serve my vision for 20 years and then you can be just like me. No. And, you know, I can just hear some religious leaders going, oh, this guy is so deceived. He just said that we're not supposed to serve anybody and go out and just rebel and do your thing. Well, kind of. In a good way. In a good way, because there's no context for that. There's no context for that in Eden. Eden, there's no hierarchy. Remember this. There's no hierarchy in the Trinity. They all live out of this creativeness that serves one another at the fullest capacity, and they all have the mother-father heart of God. And then the son comes in and just says, look, we're a family makeup here, and we're the example of what a genuine family looks like when we prefer one another. And so when you have that kind of heart in leadership, they're not going to sit there and point the finger and say you need to stay here for 20 years. What they're going to do is say, hey, why don't you jump in here if your heart's into playing the guitar, okay? First of all, the whole structure is kind of just man-made, but let's just for the sake of religion.
Because there's only so many room for so many leaders or worship leaders, right? It's like already just...
Right. So let's say for the sake of religion here.
Dog
okay, you know the setup with the worship team up here on the platform, and then everybody's down here, hierarchy. Anyway, so they're up there, and so then it's like, okay, you want to play the guitar? You know what? As the senior pastor, global,
I know,
whatever, I'm going to give you an inch, and I'm going to let you come in here. But the minute you screw up, the minute you mess up the flow and the harmony here, we're going to set you down for 15 more years, right? Or whatever. So a little bit of an exaggeration there, but not really. I mean, we've seen a lot of this stuff happen. And so it's like, it's like a good father would just come in and say, put it this way, let me ask you. If you have a son or a daughter that really is bent towards playing the guitar, the piano, or the drums, or they want to cook alongside of you, and all they can think about is just cooking with mom or your daddy in the kitchen, the awareness and the discernment of a person that is not listening to the mimicry, not listening to the conditioning as a parent would look at that child and say, oh, well, let's get you a little apron. Let's get you a little, let's get you some little utensils, things, so it's not going to harm you, but I'm going to watch next to you, and we're going to do this together. Since you have a bent towards cooking, you have a bent towards the guitar, hey, let's get you a plastic guitar, whatever. You're not going to say that, but you're just going to get them, if they're 3 years old, you're going to get them something, right? To sit there and strum and make noise. Why? Why is that important? So that they can, by doing, learn and awaken while they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? It's called mentoring without conditioning. When we mentor without conditioning,
huge.
You're actually absorbed into Eden. That's why we're not big on this spiritual mother-father thing, because there's a lot of conditioning and programming.
A lot of cloaking.
A lot of egoic stuff going on.
Up.
To where, what if that one that's being mentored by the spiritual mother or father is actually more mature than the spiritual mother and father, and they have to wait 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I'm glad Jesus didn't tell his disciples to wait 20 years.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Or another thing I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have too. So we know this prophetic voice minister. If I said his name, you would know exactly who he is. He's been around a long time, and he's had some of the greatest in the prophetic charismatic movement mentors in his life. And the challenge of that is you lose your authenticity, though, because now all he can do is he'll quote from this mentor and quote from that mentor and quote from this other mentor, so much so that he has lost himself. He's lost his intuitive lead and prompt of the Spirit in a lot of ways, because now he's double checking, triple checking, quadruple checking, and it just makes this ride instead of just an authentic, free-flowing, real in the moment. This is what God is directly telling me, and I want to share it with you guys. No, it is like protocol, check, 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 check. And by the time you get it, you've got the whole just barrage buffet of all this stuff from all his mentors and all, and hear me now. You guys know it's good to have mentors. But again, discern, is that mentor trying to make you into his own molding, because they want you to be their next generation voice to carry their message. And they did not take the time to actually recognize who you are and actually water you and let you cultivate into your authentic voice. And Janine, if you were on here, pop on, let me know, because when I was listening to your YouTube videos you recently put out on your channel, I absolutely loved. You were talking about this. You were sharing your own story, how you grew up in the whole music industry and you were, winning all these different things, and then you got this teacher, and the teacher kept trying to bend your note into the systematic way of doing things, so much so that you felt like you couldn't even, is this wrong if I do it this way? Is this wrong if I do it that way, right? All these checks and balances were put in place, and you couldn't authentically sing, so much that you lost your desire, right, for even singing for a long time. That's what it does. It's the mimic system. It starves us out from our authentic voice. It bend, shrink, that you can't even get it out,
That's because everybody
else
all is
fear.
So small.
Yeah,
They're
or have
agendas.
So they have agendas. I'm going to use your gift, right, to make me look good. See, she's got my signature sound, not hers, my signature sound. I did that,
Well, and institutions are built on that.
Right.
They're all built on it. Education, religion,
You've graduated from Bethel. You've graduated from Kansas City. You've graduated,
wherever. First Baptist of Global Ascension, something, whatever. But when you go all the way back in how this was originally tended in God's heart, let us make man in our image, not a control tactic, but in the image that they already are, which is unconditional love,
their essence,
and unlimited capabilities and unlimited expanse. And so when the breach happens, still happening today in all of our lives in different ways.
That's what we're waking up out of.
We're waking up out of that to say, hold on a minute, is that really me? But sometimes the fear of man or situations, circumstances, we're tired, we're worn out, whatever it may be for you, is that sometimes we just don't want to deal with it. So we're complicit, we're compliant. Instead of saying, hold on a minute, you're saying this internally, sometimes externally, depends on the situation. Is that really me? Is that really true to who I am in this moment? Because I'm still waking up, right? We may be a third or 30% authentic, but we're waking up rapidly because, have you noticed? Ascension is happening like daily, moment by moment kind of thing now. It is so fast. And so sometimes you won't even believe what you used to believe a month ago, a day ago, right? But you have, that's what relationship is. But when you're in the presence of full-blown non-conditioning, non-resistance, non-programming, in Eden's flow, and you recognize that, man, you are going to look in a mirror that's pure light. And then you're going to see the stuff that you've been conditioned by in light of that, and it's going to happen quickly because now you want it to dissolve in that light quickly. No more 5 years trying to go through a program, trying to get over this addiction and all that. I remember, because I'm kind of bent this way of, say, when I see something and I know that it's off, it's inauthentic to me, I have a propensity to say, okay, I'm going to drop that. It's like when I used to smoke years ago. I just knew, okay, wait a minute, I can't breathe when I run. That's over with. I'm done. Now, I know that some people can't do it that quickly, But when you realize that, wait a minute, all sin is just disharmony. It's a bent note.
Yeah, with your original blueprint.
With your original authentic blueprint. Then you realize, oh, okay. Stuff falls off and dissolves much quicker because you're like, oh, wait a minute. I don't want to be out of tune and out of pitch here. I want my song to be beautiful, and not because I have to, but because that's what Eden is. You are Eden. You are in the presence, and you're the presence of God in the earth. And so when we're a city set on a hill, then you don't want any other thing to block that light, right? You're just like, okay. And it may take a while to wake up to realize our blind spots and all that, but that's what we have spouses for.
Mirror.
That's right. That's what we have, close, trustable friends for, right? Is that,
reflect our behaviors to each other.
Reflect. You can't do that living alone with the bears out in the woods.
No, you'll just think your way's right all the time.
Yeah, because bears should in the woods.
I'm telling you guys. So I want to, okay.
You shouldn't have to do anything.
You shouldn't have to. So, yeah, we're working on a should line, you guys. We'll tell you about that soon, too, to make some T-shirts that are, because, in religion, everybody, and even growing or whatever, everybody's telling you what you should do. You should do. You should do this. You should do that. You should. So, again, how are you able to even be authentic when you've got all these shoulds piling up over you? So, anyway, I want to share this, too, with you. So, authenticity is Eden's voice echoing through a body that stopped pretending. That's, again, why all the masks are coming off. Another one, you're not here to be relatable. You are here to be real, and in real, you become undeniable. And we all know how easy it is to just, because we don't want to make waves, so we just relate and agree with everything people are saying, and we never even allow our authentic voice to come forth, or even, our personal experience, because we've got to have a union.
Wait, I got to read that again. That's so good.
Yeah.
You're not here to be relatable. You're here to be real. And in being real, you become undeniable. Oh, my goodness. So think about authenticity, the things that are authentic, that are true to you. There is nothing, okay, let's just look at material things for a second. There's nothing like high quality, authentic.
Yeah, real.
Real designs.
Instead of synthetic.
Like, playing a piano, We have some real amazing piano players.
Yeah, on here.
And you know what it's like when you have an authentic, genuine product of a piano, right? Whatever your flavor is that you believe is just like, wow, this sound is it on this amazing piece of beauty here in this crafted wood excellence, right? Whatever it is. Or you go to an authentic restaurant, authentic Mexican food.
Oh my gosh.
Authentic Thai
Nothing's
food.
better, right, you guys?
Nothing is better than that. It's undeniable.
It's undeniable. Yeah. And then they win all kinds of awards. I mean, tell me this, you guys, where you go into an Asian restaurant and they're just playing regular American music, and they've kind of offering a hodgepodge of Thai food, Chinese food, and sushi. And I go in there and I'm like, guys, what's your theme? Like, what's your authenticity? What's your specialties? I want to have an experience of like true Thai. I don't want to have just like a mixture. And I know, again, see, they're trying to be relatable to their customers. And the mindset is, okay, I'm going to divide myself up into a little bit of this over here so I can get people over there. I'm going to do this over here and then this over here. But what happens, it actually can water it down. Sometimes it works, but
not most of the time.
For my experience, it's like, I want authentic. I want to come into a restaurant. They are playing their original music from Thailand or India or Mexico, where you like can step into like a portal of the experience. Mexican food. You're like, woo, I gotta have the Mexican music with my chips and salsa. You know what I mean?
And more importantly, is you can taste our authenticity in their food.
Yes.
So it's a combination, right?
Yeah, their family recipes. You're like, oh.
How many times have we heard? I've heard this personally from chefs or restaurant owners, cafe owners, restaurant owners. I've heard this. is that, hold on a minute, I'm not making enough in just doing this over here like it's an Italian cafe, and they're just making so I've got to add some burgers over here. I got to add some tacos. I need to add some frozen French fries over here, and it just goes wah wah wah, falls flat because I'm spreading myself out, and I can't
Lost
make
your
enough
tone.
money over here. But here's the
Yeah,
difference.
it's about the money then.
Here's the difference though. We know because we have a chef on here, Andy. You tell us. You're the guy that lives in this authenticity in the way that you present your food and the way it tastes. Is that the more authentic you become in what you're passionate about, what you love to do, what you believe you were sent here to do, the better your food is going to taste because there's love infused, there's Eden infused into
There's
that.
authenticity infused, right? There's honesty in it.
And you tell me, is that going to draw more customers or repel the customers? No, I believe you're going to have word of mouth like you would not believe. That's still the best advertising, we know. We all know that.
Yeah.
And so what it's going to do is send a riveting effect frequency and vibrationally, and spiritually it's going to send that out exponentially. The more you become authentic and true to that craft, that ingredient, that product, that artistry, and more importantly, the heart you carry in it matching that frequency, and then boom, you have a world-renowned, world-class product in the way that it tastes, the way you present it, the joy that you speak through it, the love that you infuse into it, and then through that, the mentoring. Can you imagine the mentoring? Coming through that, people latch on to authenticity like nobody's business because not only is it time for that, but it's true to our nature in Eden.
It is. And how can you really sustain anything else that you're not passionate about? We're passionate about it, and because right, here you go. God was so passionate about love and music and everything. He's like, I've got to birth and sing this forth for my children so they can experience what I'm passionate, and we can enjoy the Eden and music and love and feasting and bliss together tangibly. So when we are in our authenticity, doing what we love, we can't help but want to share it with humanity. And it becomes so energetic. It is magnetic, right? If we're just doing it for the money because it's the next greatest trend, it falls so flat. You can't sustain it. And so here's the test proof. I'm sure you guys have heard of that one, cattle company, the Shed, that is way out in the middle of nowhere, and I think it's in Oregon. Is it here in Oregon, or is it?
No, not cattle company, but it's a
called
cowboy,
the Shed, the cowboy tree.
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys, they have what? They just have a small menu, but it's like farm, it's free range, But people will fly in on their jets, movie stars from Hollywood to New York City, and just come for the authentic
middle of nowhere,
experience. Literally. You have that story. You have another story of the sweet Japanese grandma. All she makes is mochi. She goes out and she harvests. She gets the rice. She harvests the bamboo roots. She does all this kind of stuff all by herself in her rubber boots. And she's in her 80s now, but people will come from all over the world to get her mochi. And
she's the important thing to note about these guys is it's not about the money first.
It is not even about the ingredients. It's simple to make.
It's about the love infused in what they are absolutely in love with and passionate about. When you're a Michael Jordan, right, and you are, people point the finger at these mega stars and all of that, but there's something so intriguing about somebody in their flow and their authenticity and their craft because they were sent here to do that. They were sent here to do that, right? But when they start waking up out of it, out of this idea of that I have to be this for society, I'm conditioned to perform, guess what happens? The love gets sucked right out of it, the passion gets sucked out of it when they start performing and doing it because
playing.
Are we not entertained kind of mentality. Back in the gladiator days, are we not entertained?
Yeah, that's what you guys wanted, right?
Then that's when everything goes south. But when somebody does it for the love and the authenticity and the passion, then it's not like work. It's not work.
It's an energetic exchange, you guys. That's what we're really buying. We're buying passion. We want that
Yeah.
feeling and that they are experiencing, because we can all taste it in the food, right? Just for example, we can taste when somebody is miserable as a chef and they can't stand their
in a
job.
heartbeat.
Oh my gosh, you can taste it in the food. It has been over microwaved, it's been overcooked, it's the low grade Cisco product at the end bottom barrel. I mean, it's just like, you're like, whoa, oh my
Cisco.
gosh. Versus somebody that they're going to the farmer's market, they're getting to know their community, they're finding their resources, they're getting the local fish, they're getting the local fruit, they're like local herbs. They're just like, oh, I want people to experience this flavor and the savory and the sweet, and they're creating the experience of what is within them, and they're offering it to you. That is their Eden gift love specialty, and it's so fun. And it is something you can continue to flow out of you, because it's your literal being and essence being infused into humanity. And so what is your highest joy and excitement? What have you been suppressing? What have you been saying, oh no, that's too much, or no, people won't be interested in that? Doesn't matter. They will be if it's something you love. The pet rock succeeded, for crying out loud, you guys. Somebody was just enjoying turning a rock into like a little pet.
Being
They loved
authentic
it.
to who they are. And if you really look at it from the standpoint, there is no conventional fruits and vegetables in Eden. It's all organic to the truest sense. There's no glyphosate. There's no Roundup in Eden, because there was no weeds. The weeds came after the breach. The weeds came after the fall.
Yeah, it was
there was
distortion.
nothing choking out the life of the organic plants that had nothing to do with the fallenness of mimicry and inauthenticity. So the call is there. We're all being called to awaken to authenticity, because that is what Eden is.
Yeah.
And you can't have love, genuine love, without being authentic first. It's on the frequency scale. It's measured. But it's like, I can't sit here and love my neighbor if I'm not my authentic self. I can fake it until I try to make it. I can sit here and try to add a quota, put a notch on another salvation belt. I can try to love somebody even though underneath my breath I am just cussing them out. Come on now, you've been there, right? We all have. I'm going to try to love this guy. Oh, I can't stand him. I'm going to try in the name of Jesus, My pastor told me I had to, or I read the scripture. It says, love your neighbor as my conditioned self, as my inauthentic self, as my real self. Ooh, now that's easy. That's easy, because I'm in Eden. So love just oozes out.
Yeah.
It's authentic. It oozes out. I don't have to read a scripture to know how to love my neighbor. It just oozes out, because now I'm being true to me. Mm-hmm. You cannot love somebody else if you're not loving yourself.
Yourself, right? That's upside down. That's why it's not working. So 101, right? 101 is giving ourselves permission to really sit in, unlock, and truly be what we love to be in our authentic expression with God. And with God, it's a total invitation. It is the most incredible thing. If you're a painter, or you're a singer, you're an artist, or you're a designer, or you love working with wood, you love technology, whatever it is, God has such a blast drawing you and opening up opportunities, and you guys collaborate together, and it is just, again, relational flow all throughout the day, inspiration.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that is, a lot of people don't, because they're so buried in what we've just been discussing. They've been buried in this programming
of shoulds
and the shame and the.
There we go.
It just went out. Hopefully this is coming through okay.
Oh, good. There we go. There's Janine.
Oh no, we are not able to see your comments, Janine. We just now seeing the comments.
Oh wow! Must have been a Wi-Fi glitch.
Is this coming through okay, you guys?
If you can't see your comments.
Now they're coming through. Now your comments are coming. For weird.
We were like, well,
we're like, I guess nobody's on, so we're not seeing comments.
They'll
Sorry,
catch us later.
Guys. Yeah, hopefully we're coming through okay. I don't know how the service is, but anyway.
Yeah, it's 11:40.
Yeah, agreed, Chef Andy. There we see that one. If you can say your concept in 2 sentences, it's too complicated. If you can't say it, if you can't
yeah,
say it,
that's so
that's
good.
right. It's true, because now you're feeding into the conditioning, saying that okay, I'm looking with internally, I'm having to justify what I believe is authentic. When we're authentic, you don't have to justify anything, right?
Yeah, it's
You know
not
that.
obligation. Oh my gosh.
It's called obligation. It's called I'm trying to please this person.
Trying to
over
please
here.
God. I'm trying to please everybody.
Trying to please everybody. Aren't you just flipping worn out trying to please everybody? I
It's-
know I am. Look, I lost all my hair over it.
It's the
And
mimic system.
It is. It's the counterfeit. But when you're your relaxed self and you are just being you,
The music flows.
Janine, on your videos, it was so refreshing.
Oh yeah.
Because you were being authentic and just sharing your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And
So many people could relate. Full.
It's so refreshing to see somebody being their real self and not trying to say that they're authentic by being a brash version of, of something that they know that it's not true to them. You're just gonna have to do it.
Man.
This is
yeah.
something
You guys
with
have to
men
tell us
that
too.
it's like fingernails on a chalkboard when men say, "This is just the way I am. Get over it, girl.
Oh man.
Get over it, honey.
Snubbing the ego.
Get over it. This is just the way I am. I ain't changing for nobody." No, that's your ego talking. Your ego is showing again, buddy.
Yeah.
No, it's like, no, that's not the real you. Because the real you would sit there and say, you know what? I am jacked up. But I am awakening.
Yeah. You'd be teachable.
Yeah.
You'd open up the camera lens, right? Wider expansion, wider viewpoint. So, and that's what's going on. And some people are like, I don't want to look. Oh, it's too painful. It's too hard. I liked my little box that I could control. And God is just like, oh no, I have so much more for you. That small self is not who you are. It's not who you are. Detached from that false identity. That was put on you. That was the mimic, religious and rigid society trying to control the greatness of who you are. And so God is just like, limits off. Sing, create, because you're releasing Eden into the earth. This is what we are being called back home. We are taking, we're taking the land back, so to speak. We're taking our frequency back. We're unbending our tone, our notes. It has been so bent with heavy labor. It goes back to Matthew, I will not lay anything heavy and ill-fitting on you. That's what's going on. We're releasing all that stuff so we can come back into tune. It's like the gathering of the gigantic orchestra. Each one of us were a God-breathed note and song, that chord progression. And so we're all being called back.
Yeah, and, just to kind of wrap it up, because we're already kind of towards the hour mark, but not that we have to stop there. Nobody's telling us we have to stop there, but we just, hey, sorry we can't see your comments. It's weird. Maybe try going to Facebook on yours.
I'll have to look on
really
quick.
If you want to go there.
I just wanted to have this one for you guys to ponder to this quote. It says, there is no anointing on the mask, but the moment you take it off, the oil flows. Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you're wondering why things aren't working, it's like we have to assess, am I moving out of a mask, and am I trying to create this out of an identity that I've created, or that society says this is how I need to be in a man's world or a woman's world, or and you're wondering why there's just no flow, there's no anointing or anything. So just toss that mask and be you, and allow God to bring everything will shift. When you are in your complete tone, your authentic tone, the real you, everything shifts like shifting gears and aligns to back you up. And so, again, you guys, full permission to be you in this time. All hands on deck. You are allowed to be you. You're allowed to express your gifts. Roll out Eden.
Yes, it's so good. So picture yourself. Let's go back to the living room for a second. Picture yourself in the most comfy, in the wintertime, the fire's crackling, you have a wood fireplace, or whatever it is that's wonderful to you. Not everybody's the same, right? Picture what that would be. Just kind of close your eyes and bring yourself into the most comfortable living room that you could ever imagine, with the most comfortable of people that love you unconditionally. Might even be a dog, right? And you just sit there and you're like, okay, I am completely relaxed. My organs are relaxed. My heart is relaxed. My nervous system is relaxed. And I am just in bliss right now, sinking into this soft sofa. What comes up for you? What comes up for you? Because God is faithful to bring things up in front of us with such grace to say, oh, that's not Eden. What would you like to do with that? He asks us the question. He doesn't force anything. He doesn't even force us to take the mask off, right? It's what let's look at this. Let's examine this for a minute. Maybe it's a habit, maybe it's an addiction, maybe it's a attitude, maybe it's just something in you that doesn't feel like your comfy living room of your authenticity. That's what we're talking about, authenticity.
And it takes courage.
It takes courage when you see that bubble up, when you see it just rise, gently rise when you watch it. Do you have a tendency to look at it and rebuke it like it's a demon?
Oh.
That's resistance. It won't go away. It'll just make it worse, right? So look at it and examine it and just say, oh,
yeah.
Let me watch that dissolve in the light of authenticity. Let me just watch it dissolve, because that's how good God is. That's how big you are in Eden. Eden dissolves. It doesn't solve. That's the ego. Ego loves to try and solve and bring solutions. Eden dissolves. So in the light of the love and the light that you are in your own authentic state in that comfortable living room, when you see something come up, look at it and let love dissolve it. It's as quick as that ascension right now, you guys. It's not about going through another 12-step program. It's not about going through healing stream. It's not about going through another deliverance session because you think you got 100 million demons in you like some guy said you did, right? No, it's about sitting in Eden, sitting in your authentic self and watching these things come up and then let them dissolve and go whoosh.
Oh, yeah.
Let the wind of God just blow it right out. And then you'll be like, whoa, I just ascended. Whoa, I just ascended that attitude of, getting angry at people that cut me off on the freeway. Ooh, I just ascended that attitude of, like, this is just the way I am. Get over it, honey.
Oh, my gosh.
I just ascended that mindset. Whoa. That's Eden. That's the kingdom of God inside of you and I.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know. I don't know why we haven't been seeing your comments on here.
You can see them on
I can see them now. Janine, oh my gosh, I love what you're sharing. Yeah, people pleaser, perfectionist, because we get all this stuff put on us, right? It just shuts us down. And like you were sharing on your YouTube video, you're talking about that. And then, I love too, I think it was your part 2 where you're sharing, because you went through that, your goal was now to make sure your students never experience that either. And so you were allowing them to bloom, even though you said, I feel like I still was, struggling maybe there, but oh my gosh, your heart is so golden. Oh man, who wouldn't have wanted
really
a teacher like that?
Yeah.
That you just, and I loved like what you said on your video where you're like, I pointed out what they were doing well instead of so much what they weren't doing well. Because how often do teachers do that? They're all the mimic system is constant fault finding, right? This is what you're not doing well.
Totally.
It's like, well, how am I ever going to know what I'm doing right? And it's the whole thing. Attention, what is it? Attention follows. What is that? How'd that go? We follow where our attention goes, and so you were doing the right thing. I know. You were doing a good thing by drawing their attention to what they're doing right, so that could expand. But yeah, like you said, it's been a long journey. You said 40 years ago, and just dropping the mask. Thank goodness. How many people are still living in it and just held so captive by just shame?
Yeah.
And that again is the mimic system. It's built on rigidness, it's built on rushing, it's built on not enoughness, and it's built on shame.
Yeah,
and that all goes back to the garden.
Yeah, and for those getting older, I used to grapple with this. I don't know if you have, Janine, or anybody else listening. Time is getting short because I'm getting older, right? But here's what changed me forever is all of this equity we've been building up through experience, life experience, spiritual journey.
Time in the cellar.
It's all equity that pays off in dividends like you would not believe by the wisdom that pours out of your face pours out of your pores,
Yeah.
pours out of your voice,
Your
pours out of your
infusion.
mentoring and all of that. You wouldn't have that otherwise. And so the older I get, the more I go, hold on a minute, because we're in eternity. This is just a short blip, as we know, but to wake up to our own authenticity may not even be fully in this lifetime, but who cares? We live on and on and on. Who knows? We might come back and do it again, right? Or expand again. That's a whole nother subject. Anyway,
Oh, I know.
so the idea is, though, wait a minute, what kind of spiritual equity, what kind of life experience equity have I been building up all these years by the journey that I've been on, with all the inadequacies and the perfectionism? You know where perfectionism comes from? Think about this. You're trying to get everything right just to feel safe.
Yeah.
I have to get it just right and just
Safe
perfect.
and acceptable,
Safe
right?
and acceptable. So,
I hear you,
so you're
Gene.
already safe and you're already acceptable, which I know you know that. But anybody that's struggling with this, like, hold on a minute. Why am I doing this to feel safe when I'm already safe? Because I am Eden. I am the kingdom of God. I am the presence of God in the earth, in my body. I'm a fractal of God in my body. So I already carry safety. I am safety. I don't have safety. I am safety.
This is the amazing thing, right? Another lie, again, in the mimic system is separation, time and space. Saying, well, you'll eventually arrive. You'll eventually get there. And it's like, no, we're it. We're it. Janine, you're a musical walking being, right? Andy, you're just, you infuse life with your creative French cooking, you know, and all the things you're doing, you know, and Ryan with his music. And of course, there's so many more things, right? We've all got these clusters of gifts. Rebecca, same with you. I mean, it's just, you are it. We are Eden in the earth. Tag, you're it. Yeah. You get to be it. You're it already. It's just blooming.
It's so good. Remember the other day when I was struggling?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what was that?
You were at the bank.
Oh, yeah. So I was at the bank and I had this check. And you know how it is when you take a third-party check into a bank that's not yours? And I wasn't close to ours, and I went to this other bank. It was a little gift for my birthday. And the teller was like, well, you know, this person goes by another name, and, you know, I don't know if I can cash this. It was just a small amount. It was like $100. And they're going through this whole thing. And you know how I don't know if you do, but you get a little antsy and you're like, okay, come on, already, it's just $100. You already saw their account, you know, you checked them out. And so I started feeling that anxiety come up. And then I said, something inside of me, Holy Spirit said, hold on a minute. Who are you? You are Eden. Release Eden. Release presence. Yeah. Release who you are. You are a portion of me. You're one with me. So release Eden into this place. So I did it, and it's just a split second in my mind. I said, I release Eden. Boom.
Infuse
in
the
a
atmosphere.
split second, she cashes the thing. She goes, oh, okay, I'm just going to cash it. Here, boom, 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 boom. I was out of there in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just one small example. But this is why Jesus said, not only will you do the things that I have done, but you will do greater.
Yeah, collapsing timelines.
We're expanding. Mm-hmm. We're expanding. We're collapsing timelines. We're expanding. And we are eternity in human skin. And so when we look at it from that perspective, then miracles are normalized. We think that miracles are just like, oh my gosh, look at that miracle, you know, what happened? And yeah, it's great. But what about normalizing?
Yeah, it's
miracles
of course. Well, of course that should happen.
Yeah,
of course that happens. That's how it is in Eden. That's how I live. That's how things work. And you know, Papa was sharing with me the other day, again, where your attention goes, your experience follows kind of thing. So think about it, like, and you guys know this, like playing the piano. When you are down on the lower tone and it's a sharp or a minor and you're just like, and everybody's attention is on that, hearing that. And then that becomes the experience we all have, is hearing the, you know. But then you move it up into the beautiful tones and the nice positive chord progressions and everything. And now the atmosphere, everything changes around and all the attention is on that one. Same with playing like the different harp strings or the, you know, different guitar strings. Anyway, it's like, the experience is different. And so it's just like, by you changing to, I am Eden, I'm going to infuse it and release Eden, all the tones shifted in everybody, and now it matched that tone progression, that chord sequence. You know, it's joy
yeah,
technology.
it is.
And
It ignited the Eden in them. It ignited home.
yeah, cooperative
Home
components
matched home. Yeah.
shifted because we shifted. We are getting the outcome we choose in that moment of our tone and what we believe.
Yeah.
So if we're going in believing, oh, this is going to go well, I'm not in a good mood, what happens? Everybody else around you is now you've got resistance. Why does this keep happening to me? See, I knew it. I wasn't going to have favor, blah, blah, blah. Where the difference, you go in joy, in rest, in Eden, and things just shift. They mirror you. Everything, what life is mirroring to areas we're not free yet in, right?
Yeah, because you know, in essence, what I was doing in that moment in the bank was I was saying, wait a minute, this isn't my authentic self. Panicking, having anxiety, that's not me. That's the conditioned me. And so if you learn to just kind of differentiate in everything that you do throughout your day, like the thing comes up, I'm too old. Nobody's going to listen to me. I'm too old. Let the youngsters do it kind of attitude. Wait a minute. Who's talking? Who's saying that? Because that's not the real authentic you. That's the program conditioned you saying, hold on. Who do I side with? A mimic that says I'm too old? Or am I going to side with authenticity? No, a fine wine. Chef, you know this. A fine wine is aging in that cellar. Now, it doesn't not still be wine. It's still wine in that cellar. And when it's aging, some people think that I have to wait for a certain time. No, you're still wine. You're still the grapes. You're still the wine. You're still in that bottle, right? And so what's happening is there's this amazing awakening process that happens that when Joseph gets out of prison, he gets to become the second most powerful leader in the known world because he was aging like a fine wine.
Yeah, he let go of resistance, right?
Resistance so that he could become the authentic self he was meant to be. And there's no way a purity of that authentic prophetic word would have come through him to the degree it did to elevate him. By the way, not his decision to elevate him. It was God's and Pharaoh's, right? Pharaoh's cooperation. But it was God's desire to promote him. And that's what happens when we become authentic. We don't seek after promotion. We don't seek after staging. We don't seek after greatness.
Magnetic.
We already are. You already are great. And that's not arrogance. That's just fact. That's just truth. You and I are already great in the eyes of God and the whole cosmos.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't need to seek after things when we know we're living in our authenticity. People come to you like the cowboy tree. People will fly all over the world, just like Elvis did with his peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because he heard one was amazing across the planet. Mm-hmm. Okay, let me go get my PBJ over there because, man, they're authentic. You know, whatever it may be. People go to Italy because of authenticity, right? They want authentic Italian food.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And again, this is the effortless way of living. We don't have to strive. We don't have to strategize. Put our attention back into emanating, infusing, enjoying. Yeah. We got to be in joy and actually enjoying what we're doing. That is where the magnetic juice is. Yeah. So you guys know that. So anyway.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up there.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
And
watch for our wake-up calls. Thank you for the feedback there.
Yes.
Janine,
we
love doing those.
Andy,
we get downloads
guys.
in the morning, and we just want to share that. So that's in our subscriber group. If you're interested in diving deeper and expanding and awakening and just hearing some more just in-depth stuff that just ignites your life, consider joining with the family Hum Over Hustle community on the subscribers. It's really, really inexpensive.
Yep.
$4.99 a month.
Oh my gosh! You can't even get a latte for that these days. My gosh, it's what, $9.50 now. We're like, what?
And the reason we put a price on it is because when you do stuff for free online, you have to spend most of your time weeding out the mimics that come in and try to just downgrade, degrade, and persecute, right? But if you put a little bit of a price on there, then people are not so apt to pay to persecute you.
Unless
Some
they're
will,
interested.
but it just weeds out a lot of that. And plus, you know, the value of what we've been through is gold. It's just like you, just like your journey. Everybody's journey is gold. And so, yeah, we want you to come and experience that with us if you feel this prompting to do that.
Yeah, we
we'll
would
put the
love to
link-
have you. So
Yeah, we'll drop the link below here for the subscriber after this. Maybe not right after, but we will put it up there. And
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. We love doing this, and
yeah.
we love where we're at right now on the journey.
And we can feel the love when you're on. That means so much. We love having you guys on. It's just the best. So we can feel when you're not there. We're like, oh, man, we miss having them on. And so it's when you guys pop on, we're like, woo, awesome. So we love you all. Thanks again. And we will see you on the next one. Talk soon.
Have a good day.